Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Miami Marlins offseason here in our Miami Marlins MLB the Show 21 franchise. First, we have got to jump right into this with coaching. We need to find some pitching coaches. Thomas Keys is the guy that we're looking to bring into the organization. $1.4 million a year is what we'll offer him over 3 seasons. We're also going to need a first base coach and a third base coach, but at first base coach, we are looking and not finding anybody we really like until we get to Max Buxton, who will add some speed and some fielding and some reaction. So we will bring him in as well. A bit of a cheaper deal than our pitching coach for Max Buxton. And then at third base coach, Marvin Stovall seems like a guy that'll work. Well, he'll also be able to add some speed to our guys as well. And being that we have a lot of slow dudes, that'll definitely help. Eloy Jimenez is the first contract we want to rework here because, quite frankly, he's the guy that's willing to give us the biggest hometown discount. At $6.6 million a year, we'll see if he's able to accept that. Francisco Mejia's contract is also up at the age of 29. He'll finally get his first big league contract. $8 million a year is something I'll pay him for now, but I can't guarantee he stays on the squad. Taylor Rogers pitched really well last year. At the age of 34, though, he wants $6.8 million a year. If he accepts, he'll likely be on the trade block as well because we are running out of budget. And we need to keep Gleyber Torres, who was a catalyst for the offense last year, batted .282 with 28 homers and 95 ribbies, and he played really well when it came time to the postseason. And we need guys who are going to be postseason performers if we're going to be able to take down the Braves if we were to play them again in the NLCS. We don't want to constantly lose playoff series. We lost in the wild card. Year number 1, well, no, not the wild card. We lost in the NLDS in Game 5 to the Reds, and then lost last year in the NLCS. So we need guys that can play in the playoffs. Max Buxton accepts our offer for the 3 years, so we bring him in. Jordan Hicks decides to decline his player option, so we'll have to work a contract with him, and he wants a hefty amount of money. We're going to go ahead and give it to him for now, but we're likely going to deal him for someone because there's no way we can afford that money. Marvin Stovall accepts our offer as the third base coach for 3 years, and Thomas Keys accepts our offer to become the pitching coach. So all the coaches accept. Jordan Hicks is the first guy that we're going to dump off. That's going to be a dump off of over $15 million. We bring in Might Be Worthy as our main piece of that trade. Walker Buehler will sign with the Nationals, so he will come on into our division. 10 years, $310 million, basically the max you can give in this game. The Brewers signed Shane Bieber, so some of the bigger pitchers coming off the market. We went out and got Nick Anderson to replace Jordan Hicks at $9.25 million a year. Much rather pay that than the $16 that Jordan Hicks was commanding. He is now gone to the Orioles for Might Be Worthy and Giancarlo Lorenz. Might Be Worthy could be a guy that will replace Mejia, so I'm liking that deal for us. We're trading away 3 prospects for 1 prospect as we got to open up some roster space, of course. Giancarlo Lorenz ends up going away in another deal. Jordan Holloway and John Duplantier are 2 guys that can't be moved up and down anymore, so why not bring in a guy like Quinn Priester for that? And Francisco Mejia, along with Brian Anderson, are going to dump us some money, and we're going to pick up a hell of a prospect right there in Noelvi Marte. Juan Soto is going to be our big free agent acquisition. Should he sign here, 44 home runs, 120 RBIs. Jacob deGrom is another guy we would like to bring in as a big-time pitcher. It is somebody we could definitely use. And we need that boost because we don't know about Shohei Ohtani. He didn't have a great season last year. Juan Soto does decide to join the team. 8-year, $225 million deal. but the young outfielder at 99 overall to go next to Mike Trout would be amazing. J.B. Wendelken, a former Marlin, he'll go to the Padres. Danny Jansen will sign as a catcher with the Chicago Cubs. And there's the news of Brian Anderson and Francisco Mejia moving for Michael McHugh, not Noelvi Marte. My bad, my mistake. Shohei Ohtani and Eloy Jimenez getting dumped off for money reasons, but we bring in Luis Severino, which isn't exactly bringing in less money, but don't worry about it. There are definitely reasons we did what we did there. Garrett Crochet, we're going to offer him his arbitration for $2.99 million. Then we're going to look at Jesus Luzardo. He was making 3.6. We'll offer him about 3.9. I think that's pretty fair for him. Max Meyer was making pretty much no money. He's going to probably make more than what I'm going to offer him, but I don't want to offer him like too much money. He didn't exactly perform all that well in the postseason, so I don't know. Maybe they'll side with us. Probably not, though. Tyler Stevenson is a guy that hasn't had great numbers since we brought him in. It's only been a season, so hopefully he can do something next year, and hopefully they won't overcharge us for him. Guillermo Marquez has been great, so I expect to lose that arbitration. Willie Castro isn't a guy who's been on the team for a long time, but we might lose that one as well. And Bobby Bradley deserves some more money than $1.4 million. We'll give him $1.9. He's probably going to make more. Chris Paddock ends up going to St. Louis to pitch for the Cardinals, a 3.81 ERA, 9-11 last season, 92 overall. It's a 6-year, $154 million deal. Brandon Woodruff was a guy we had put an offer on at one point, but 4 years, $62 million to the Twins. There's the trade for Severino. Shohei Ohtani just wasn't working for us, and our former pitcher, Sandy Alcantara, is going to go over to the Orioles to join his buddy Jordan Hicks over on that squad. Giovanni Gallegos will be coming into the division as well with the Nationals. Pablo Lopez has declined the qualifying offer. He's going to remain a free agent. If somebody signs him, we'll still get a draft pick. That's good. Miguel Sano ends up getting traded to the LA Angels for Eloy Amaya and Andrew Watts. Don't know that that's a great deal for the Twins, but they seem to like it. Carson Kelly will sign with the Red Sox on a 4-year, $74 million deal. Brandon Lowe is heading to the NL East with the New York Mets, 5 years, $54 million, and that's because they lost Jeff McNeil to the Red Sox, 3 years, $39 million. The Mets bring back their former pitcher, Jacob deGrom, on a 1-year, $31 million deal. I wasn't willing to go that high, so we don't get deGrom. And our former pitcher, Pablo Lopez, will be going to Boston to play with the Red Sox. Tyler Duffy, Corbin Burns, making signings there. Corbin Burns to the White Sox, 5 years, $134 million. We continue moving on, and Lance McCullers gets traded from the Astros to our rivals, the Braves, for Carlos Rodon and Johan Camargo. So they get rid of a couple of old guys for one old guy. Willie Adames will sign with the Cubs to be their new shortstop. Mike Soroka will be leaving the Braves. That is a good thing, as he will end up in Cleveland. And Dom Smith comes back to the NL East in the jersey of the Washington Nationals. So a lot of moves getting made. Pete Alonso will be leaving the Mets and going to the Minnesota Twins, while Kenta Maeda will be going to St. Louis on a 1-year, $11.5 million deal. For the St. Louis Cardinals, Alex Verdugo will be going to center field for the Detroit Tigers. 6 years on that deal. Clint Frazier will be going to the D-backs, and Ketel Marte gets picked up by the Cincinnati Reds. That's a team that gives us trouble, and Connor Pilkington and Reese Hines as prospects will be the ones sent to Cleveland to bring him in. Tyler O'Neill will be the left field replacement there, as he will go to Cleveland. Franmil Reyes will be making the move to Texas on a 3-year, $51.6 million deal. He had 45 bombs last year. Then we make it to the Rule 5 draft, and Chris Bryant decides to go from the Braves to the Reds. Remember, the Braves and the Reds, it doesn't really matter where he's at. Both of those teams kicked our ass in the postseason in the last couple of years. We actually lose Adam Klopfenstein, if you caught that above. We have a chance of losing Xavier Marchand, Grant Levine, all of these guys who have been in our minor leagues for a while. Unfortunately, my dummy butt has decided to sim through instead of kind of see where all the guys went. But we'll find out when we look at our roster later. Victor Robles, 91 overall. He is going to be joining the Braves. That's not good for us. We put an offer in on Nicholas Castellanos, so we're going to try to bring him in. Arbitration sided with Willie Castro. He's going to make $4.2 million. Jesus Luzardo wins his as well. He'll be making 5.1. Still a good deal for a pitcher of his caliber. Guillermo Marquez will be making $3.65 million. And as you can see, our budget here, we need to trade some players. We are spending far too much money between Trout, Severino, Soto, Glaber, so we've got to make some moves here. This is where we bring in Noel V. Marte for Willie Castro, Neville Haley, and Richie Ramsey. A couple of small prospects and Willie Castro. I'm willing to do that. We bring in some really good players here from the White Sox, Jared Trout and Michael Kopech. We bring them in. We get rid of Guillermo Marquez. I'm very sad to see Marquez go. He was one of my favorite bullpen guys, but for the money, as you can see, saving an extra however many $100,000, we got to do that. Castellanos and Freddie Peralta, two guys we can't afford. We save about $7 million there. Michael Kopech was making $570,000. We'll bring in Jack Saxon instead as a prospect. We don't need to use Kopech in our Major League bullpen this year. Garrett Crochet wins his arbitration as well for $3.5 million. Max Meyer, like I said, was gonna win his for $1.8 million, and Tyler Stevenson wins his for $3.4. So we don't really win anything. Nick Anderson and Grant Levine are going to be traded away. A couple more guys we couldn't afford. Jonathan Hernandez comes in as a very cheap option. And then Rafael Devers, we've got to trade him away. Can't afford him either. We trade him away with a very old relief pitcher to bring in Spencer Torkelson. So a lot of changes on the team this year. We'll take a look at what the lineups and pitching rotations going to look like after we get through spring training and see some of the statistics of spring training here. Simming through, got 14 wins thus far, make it 15. And that is how spring training ends. We get 16 wins in spring training. Spencer Torkelson hits 257 with 3 homers. Tyler Stevenson, 228. There's Glaber playing really great in spring, 365. Soto, 475, 6 bombs in spring training. I'd say he's ready to play for us. Mike Trout, I really expect a lot better from him. 273, 3 home runs is not going to cut it for me. He's got to do a better job. Isan Diaz batted 500 in spring training in only 18 games, so I enjoy what he was able to do. Over with the pitching, Nicholas Boucher did not look all that great. DL Hall looked terrible. Kurt Blanks was looking pretty good out there. Ray Macias as well. Max Meyer had a awful spring training after winning his arbitration, so we might get robbed there. Alexis Sanchez had a bad spring as well, so pitching has got to pick it up a little bit. We're looking at the top 50 prospects. Wow, look at Steve Nunez. What a first baseman he's going to turn into. No wonder they got rid of Pete Alonso. Michael McHugh is now on our team. He is the 4th best prospect in baseball. Joe Hagan is number 6. Miguel Giraldo and Quinn Priester are 13 and 14, respectively. If your created guy is a top prospect, let me know in the comments section. DL Hall's number 22 for our Marlins. Nick Prado, number 39 at first base. Richie Hawkins, 43 at left field. So we've got quite a bit of top 50 prospects there, and we're hoping that they can work out. I did see the animal Jaqueminon in there as well. So this will be what our lineup is against righties with a DH. Aitken, Trout, Soto, Torres, Baez, Bradley, Stevenson, Torkelson, and might be Worthy. Without DH, you can just take out the DH and go forward. Lefties with the DH would be Jared Trout with Mike Trout. 2 Trouts back-to-back. Baez, Soto, Torres, Bradley, Stevenson, Torkelson. So that is what we are looking to send out there. As far as pitching, Luis Severino will be our ace. Max Meyer will be second. Jesus Luzardo will be the lefty, splitting all the righties. Boucher will be our 4th guy, and Kurt Blanks makes the starting rotation this year as our 5th starter. Randy Dobnak, Quinn Priester will be the long relievers. Jonathan Hernandez, Michael McHugh, and Andres Del Villar in the middle relief. Garrett Crochet and Taylor Rogers to set up for Ryan Muller, who will close. Let's look at some of our competition this year. As you can see, the Braves got 4 really good starters. Their bullpen is not bad. Their closer, he's okay. Will Smith's fine. He'll definitely do some things. Freddie Freeman, Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, Dansby Swanson, Marcell Ozuna, Ronald Acuna, and Anthony Santander. But I think they're going to start Victor Robles out there in the outfield. That is a rough team to have to go against. With DeGrom, the Mets pitching staff is incredible, as nobody's worse than an 86, but their bullpen is where they're going to falter a little bit. Edwin Diaz is a good closer, though. They do have JT Realmuto, Steve Nunez, Brandon Lowe, Cabrian Hayes, Francisco Lindor, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Cyrus Telshaw, Jason Dominguez, and Joey Gallo. I don't know. They have a lot of outfielders. Who knows who's going to start where for them? The Phillies, probably the worst pitching thus far. Their catcher's not going to be much to write home about, and as far as their infield, it's okay. Kyle Lewis, definitely their best outfielder. Jonathan Walton is out there as well. I don't know. With Bryce Harper, I think the Phillies are probably the worst. Nationals have some really good pitching. They got some really good bullpen guys, not a great closer. Adley Rutschman at catcher, though, with Josh Bell at first base. Chad De La Guerra at second. Carter Kieboom making his way up at third base. Trey Turner at short. Dom Smith just brought in Raimel Tapia and Hunter Renfroe. Washington will be tough, too, and that is who we're going to have to start our season with in Washington against the Washington Nationals. I am going to be moving through seasons a little bit quicker. Views on the series have not been doing well. They have been vastly declining. So if you are enjoying the series, make sure that you get there as early as you can. Watch these episodes. Watch them all the way through so that the stats and the numbers are good on them. Maybe we can even get some new viewership. Make sure you guys drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel for the love of franchise content, as that is what we do here. Make sure you check out the links in the description to the Discord and the Twitch. Make sure you come and check us out and join this great community that we have begun here on YouTube, but have now branched into other places. Come hang out with us. It is a really fun time. Make sure you guys put your predictions for the season in the comments section below, and why don't you drop a Soto in the comments section so I know you are a legend that made it to the end of this video. Thank you guys so much, very, very much for watching. If you want to see some more franchise, make sure you click right here for some more franchise.
I feel to break somehow.